Hello everyone, hope you're all well. Today I'm going to talk about a show I'm very passionate about, Death Battle. For this video, I'm going to be talking about and ranking every episode of season 1 of the show. I never watched the show back when this was airing, so I'm able to be as objective as possible when talking about this. If you've watched any Death Battle ranking videos before, then you may expect me to just consider the fight, but I only half considered it, as the analysis and conclusion is just as important for me. Surprise surprise, this is my opinion, and if you disagree then that's okay. I'm glad you get enjoyment out of episodes I don't like as much. Also, if the text-to-speech bot gets annoying, then just leave. With that being said, let's begin. Death Battle usually do at least one joke episode per season, and sometimes they even use real life people. But wow, this one is just straight up disrespectful. The concept of this fight alone is just disrespectful. I don't like Justin Bieber or Rebecca Black much myself, but damn, this episode exists just to cyberbully two teenagers for making subjectively bad music. It's kinda gross, to be honest. The analysis is literally nothing, and Rebecca's analysis has derp in the sidebar. Literally why? As for the fight itself, the sprites are literally just Scott Pilgrim models with PNG faces splattered on. Lazy even for season 1 problems. Not to mention the animation is just awful. It's short, uninteresting and just boring. Surely the next episode is less of an insult. Boomstick has aged a lot as a character over the years, but he did not start all too great. This episode shows exactly why.
Good night, sugar.
Rogue vs Wonder Woman, the first of the Marvel vs DC fights, the first of many, 24 in fact. Yeah, the Boomstick perv jokes are way too much here, especially that Ms. Marvel being unconscious one. Hell, Wonder Woman's analysis opens with a boob joke, and is followed by 2 more, not to mention the blatant misogyny in the episode. As for the fight itself, I'm glad the health bars are gone. There's some good conveyance of speed, plus the black and white shot before the kill move looks great. However, the lasso of truth looks awful, not to mention the atrocious sound design. As for the conclusion, it compares Wonder Woman to the Juggernaut, so shouldn't she be able to resist Rogue's touch? Anyways, bad episode, next. There's a lot to say about having child cartoons in a battle to the death. Good quality episodes is not one of them.
Haven't won! I'm invincible! My spark lives! You can never defeat Star!
Yeah, I'm not a Transformers fan, so I can see why this might be painful to some people. Firstly, the idea of this fight is just stupid. I've even heard it was originally supposed to be Starscream vs Twilight Sparkle but was changed due to Dash's abilities. Firstly, Boomstick's moments talking about guns is nice, and I appreciate they actually use numbers for once. But Starscream's analysis feels like it's out of spite rather than celebrating the character, and no, I did not need to know about him possessing a schoolgirl. Gross. As for the fight itself, I respect how they tried with the banter. Keyword being tried. This fight would make me embarrassed to be a Starscream fan, but it is cute how he uses his silver tongue to lock onto Rainbow Dash. Plus, what is the death? Starscream doesn't even die. Bad episode, never watching again unless I need to. There's nothing worse than a bad episode than a forgettable one. The idea of having Leonardo return the episode after he wins another fight is interesting. I just hope it doesn't happen again. The analysis is pretty bare bones in all honesty. It's comically short with Leo's barely passing the 1 minute mark. As for the fight, despite the terrible sound design, it's short but has elements that work. Rash's attacks feel like combos you'd do in a Battletoads game, and Leo's use of the environment adds some points to this episode, plus the death is solid for season 1. However, the conclusion brings up Leo's use of the environment but doesn't discuss any actual feats. Every show had to start somewhere, even if it hasn't aged well.
You're mine.
As the first ever episode, Boba Fett vs Samus Aran has its charm to it, but damn it hasn't aged well. Wiz and Boomstick are extremely cringy and the number of times they say badass is hilarious. Plus, the funny that's right Boomstick line is gold. Samus analysis is poor. There's no ironic or unironic enjoyment to be had. Now, onto the fight. It's aged pretty poorly. They both use a decent amount of abilities overall. There's not much I can say, it just exists. However, the music during the morph ball part was very tense. Glad they improved for the next episode. Besides Marvel, DC and anime fights, fighting games are death battles bread and butter, and this season had 3 pitting them against each other, and this one is easily the worst. Felicia vs Taokaka is a bland episode. The analysis kind of sucks. Feels like we learn more about their weaknesses than their strengths, but Boomstick singing about Felicia is funny. The fight itself is extremely fast like their games but often at the expense of me not being able to tell what's happening half the time. At least the butterfly scene is cute and the death is decent. The conclusion sucks too. Apparently according to the Death Battle cast, this is Ben Singer's least favorite episode, and I can kind of see why. Yeah, this episode is pretty forgettable. What can I say that I like? Well, I like the Bomberman reboot joke, the Yoshi meme was cute and Boomstick's admiration for them both. But the fight is kinda weak. Rui's death was more brutal than Bomberman somehow. I guess there's some decent trading of abilities, but why does Bomberman look fat during the fight? Now you'll never see this fight the same. I love both these franchises, so you may be surprised to learn that I didn't like this episode. I really wish we got the original episode idea Harry vs Tsung, because what we got was bland. Luke's analysis is pretty good, tells you who he is as a character, his powers and some feats. Harris isn't bad either. Boomstick trying to use the Axio spell is funny, but they say he's achieved many feats but don't actually mention any. As for the fight itself, it's whatever. Harry using the killing curse straight away is pretty weird. The sound design is bad. There's a great conveyance of speed through Luke's acrobatics and Harry's teleporting, but Luke's run looks dumb. Plus, despite the tension to the death being great, the death itself kinda stinks, and the conclusion just reiterates what happens during the fight. Female versus female fights usually aren't great on this show, and this is a prime example of why. Chun-Li vs Mai is bland. Boomstick perv jokes are really getting old at this point, even if the distraction part is fairly in character, just a forgettable analysis overall. Anyways, how is the fight? Well, the choreography is actually fun. I like the part where Chun slaps Mai. But, the sound design is bad and the death and conclusion suck. I wish they did the original plan with Chun vs Sonya so the death would make more sense. I love dinosaurs, so you may be shocked to hear I didn't love this episode despite its fun nature. Yoshi vs Riptor is such an odd matchup choice. But it was fun, just not very good. One odd choice was to mention Smash as a canon feat for Yoshi, plus the baby launcher joke was cringe. Riptor's analysis had a fun moment with Boomstick advocating how smart he is with dinosaurs. Nice touch. The fight is short, like really short. Riptor killing the baby Yoshi was funny and Yoshi using a Koopa shell was neat I guess. Yoshi blinding Riptor with his own acid is creative and the death is really funny. Fun, but an episode I'd never watch again. Oh boy, this one's going to be a hot take having this solo down. For the first 3D episode, Link vs Cloud is not great. I appreciate how they lay out the rules in the intro. As for the fight, the music choice is cool I suppose. But Link's goofy run is so distracting. Plus the animation is noticeably janky but not god awful for the time. In the climax, Link slashing Cloud looks bad and the death is funny. The conclusion sucks since they said Cloud could beat the planet busting Sephiroth but not Link. Weird. 4 out of 10 watch the remake instead. Fighting games are amazing, especially their villains. So what happens when you shove two of the best villains together? This dated, but fine episode. This is a solid second episode, but bad nowadays. Akuma's analysis is pretty good as it gives a couple feats, shows most of his abilities and goes into his character a little. But Shang's is pretty weak as it doesn't list any feats and no humor. In the fight the health bars are still distracting, but Akuma's aggression is shown perfectly, and I like Shang's combo with the toasty effect. Even Akuma's air grab was nice. The conclusion just wasn't great, just claims Akuma could beat Liu Kang without saying how strong he is. Decent second episode. Battle royales are always fun, until they get copyrighted and removed from YouTube like this episode. TMNT Battle Royale is fun, even if the analysis, besides the bong joke and Mikey's analysis, is pretty bland and rushed. As for the fight, it's not half bad. There's some solid choreography and it feels super fast, fitting for ninjas. Donnie's death is super brutal. Raph and Leo's showdown is so tense thanks to the music and the fake out is good. The conclusion isn't half bad either. Honestly, this would move up a few spots if 3 out of 4 of the analysis sections weren't so devoid of life as they are. I love seeing powerful, godlike characters on the show, but this one was just fine.
Die.
On one hand, the analysis is solid, going over pretty much everything both characters can use. On the other, we get shots like Kratos walking, and although the sound design and impact of most hits is weak, I appreciate how much of their arsenal they use during the fight, with some decent choreography too. The fake out is decent but the death itself is weak. Plus, the conclusion is solid, not bad at all. This is another episode that I will be questioned for putting so low, but like I said in the intro, the analysis is key, and if it's bland, the fight won't matter as much.
Oh, now's my chance.
Yeah, the analysis of this episode is bland. To be honest, there's just not many fun edits or jokes that keep me awake with all the information being blasted at me. As for the fight itself, there's voice acting for Sonic, and it's okay. There's some excellent choreography and good conveyance of Sonic's speed. However, the random montage really throws me out of the fight, even if the Stone Mario scene is funny. The shot of Sonic running to the volcano looks good, and I like how Super Sonic is activated. The death is just fine and the conclusion really degrades what is otherwise a solid episode. I don't care much for joke episodes, but this one's hard not to find some entertainment out of. As the first ever joke episode, Goomba vs Koopa holds up fairly well for season 1 standards. For the analysis, the joke about Goomba somehow holding a baseball bat is pretty funny, and the line about Goombas being morons always makes me smile. As for Koopas, I adore how happy Boomstick gets over the realization Koopas might be Ninja Turtles. The whole analysis making fun of how dumb they both are really works in its favor. As for the fight itself, besides the awful sound design, I love how the Goomba destroys the bullet bills with the babies. The chanting at the end is a nice touch. I get that it's a joke episode, but I would have liked some explanation as to why it's a double KO anyways. Cute episode. Next. If I had to choose the most underrated episode of the season, this would without a doubt be the winner. I really liked Haggar vs Zangief. Boomstick's obsession with Haggar's manliness being a highlight for me, and I liked how they did research on real life animals. But damn, those end clips are weird. During the fight they both flex their clothes off and I love it. I also appreciated Mike using the environment like the games. Plus, the ending scene with them falling is actually intense, as it seems like either could win. Just a fun use of 7 minutes. There's nothing better than the comment sections of To Death Battle Do a Dragon Ball episode. Unfortunately this one is an actual stomp for them.
Uh-oh.
Sayonara.
I had a lot of fun with Vegeta vs Shadow. They actually went through numerous feats for once. This is the first death battle with voice acting and it works as the banter is good in my opinion. I was a bit off-putted by the sudden super form transformations, but I hold that to the limited episode time. There's some great conveyance of speed, and I love Shadow's snap combo. And wow, Vegeta punching the moon to earth is so cool despite how outdated it looks. This is just a solid fight held back by its weak death and conclusion. Remember earlier when I said female on female fights weren't that great compared to the rest of their season? Well, forget I said that, because this one kinda slaps. For Jordan's first episode animating, Zelda vs Peach is pretty good. Despite this, the intro literally has the hosts making fun of them for being useless. Kinda cringe, not gonna lie whiz, and they straight up have some sexist jokes in there. As for the fight itself, well, it's pretty good. The impact on most hits is easily felt with some good choreography to boost it. I like the shot of Zelda reflecting the ram and the slap off is funny. The bridge breaking is a great moment followed by an amazing death and setup. Only thing I didn't like was Zelda's model. Plus, I think this is the first time they use math in their conclusion. Cool. Probably wasn't expecting this one to be so high, so you'll be shocked to see this. I was shocked too, but this one electrified me. I like the inference made about anime Pikachu stats, and it made me very nostalgic for the anime. Blanka's analysis is fun too and goes over his character arc, which gives it extra points over other episodes. During the fight, I appreciated the music choice, and liked Blanka mocking Pikachu. There's some alright choreography, topped off with a hilarious death. Despite this, the conclusion sucks as it implies Blanka is a Pokemon. This episode was definitely biased. Kicking off my top 5 is an episode you all knew would be here, because it's literally an army fight. This episode was way ahead of its time and was a great way for Ben to end his time animating for the show. I do wish the analysis focused more on adding humor and analyzing its central characters rather than the army, but I get why. As for the fight, the idea of having an entire army fight another one is an amazing idea and I hope the eventual Bowser vs Eggman does the same. Eggman has voice acting and it is fine, I guess. As for individual moments, Beta's entrance is cool, but Base has a cringe line in there too. I really didn't mind the banter between the doctors but the death was really weak. At least Metal Sonic was cool despite the cop-out conclusion. If any fight from season 1 deserves a remake soon, it's this one. I love episodes where Boomstick gets to flex his knowledge about weaponry, and ones where they mention numerous feats. Plus, the Boomstick chainsaw joke is so funny, and the big fucking gun one is hilarious. The analysis is not perfect, but it kept me smiling and interested, a big feat for season 1. As for the fight, I thought it was fine. The shot of Chief dodging and throwing a rocket looks sick. There's one bit of Chief hitting Doomguy with a sniper and it feels like it was made from feathers with how low impact it has. However, the death is great, followed by a fairly poor conclusion. God, I hope this is remastered. What happens when you cross the most popular Marvel character with the most popular DC character? This episode, of course.
It's all or nothing. Sorry about that. Web swing!
Yeah, this one's pretty good. The jokes are funny, such as the no friends line or the spider web song. Hell, the analysis overall is just really good for season 1. I quite liked the fight too. Hits feel somewhat impactful. Although I wasn't a fan of Spidey just standing still, allowing Bruce to land a hit. I love the grapple kick into the building, and Batman's use of the shadows is perfect. Furthermore, the bats really work to this fight's advantage, and my god, the death is great. Perfect almost, but like most episodes in this season, the conclusion sucks. Just because a fight is a stomp doesn't mean the episode is bad or boring. This episode proves why. I love both Marvel and Mortal Kombat, so I was guaranteed to like this one. I loved the jokes about Raiden's name origin, plus it's so funny going from Thor making continent level earthquakes to Raiden smashing concrete. Now, the fight. The choreography is excellent, just look at Raiden's opening combo. Then deflecting each other's lightning looks really good. However, Raiden has a weird moment where he just flies off. The air clash looks great in the climax with Thor resisting and punching Raiden is amazing, plus the music is nice. Finally, the death is overkill and I love it. Now, what could possibly beat out this episode? Death Battle Season 1 was very mixed for me, but it finished off with perhaps the show's magnum opus. You knew this would be number 1. The intro to Goku vs Superman feels so monumental. I wish I watched it at the time. The analysis felt like it went over literally everything. Character, feats, stats, and abilities. It's almost perfect. As for the fight, the abridged opening is a little weird, but glad they gave the fight a reason to happen. I can't speak on Goku, but I can tell they represented Superman perfectly, attitude and all. I love how fast paced it was, and it felt like they gave them everything they could. I wasn't a fan of the part where they were telling each other about their abilities. But damn, the scene where Goku destroyed the kryptonite to give Superman a fair chance is so damn good. Although it's janky, the choreography is decent and the acting is pretty good. The "I haven't even begun to play" line is really good writing. I love how at the end Goku can sense how Clark is still alive, and the tension when they're both charging their final attacks gave me chills almost. And wow, the music during the climactic showdown and the final punch as well as the planet breaking is way too great for this season, and the silence just sells it. In my opinion, The conclusion is perfect, and adore how they bring character into it. Just wow. And that was season 1. Pretty bad and dated for the most part, but hey, what did you expect? I'll hopefully get to doing the other seasons if this one does well. Now go away.